Hello class, my name is Felicitas, as you guys know, and I'm going to be presenting my Johari window assignment. So as many of you have been doing and recording or writing your papers, we're all very aware that it consists of these four major quadrant points to analyze what other people think of us as well as like what we think of ourselves and continued. So it's open, hidden, blind, and unknown quadrants. So in the next slide, you're going to see the analyzing features of the test that I've done for each quadrant, and you'll see that image throughout my presentation. And I'm going to basically elaborate what each quadrant is and kind of talk about what exam or assessment I related to the quadrant to continue defining a little bit deeper. And then towards the end, I'm gonna talk a little bit about like what my goals are, what I want to achieve. I'm gonna focus first on the open quadrant, which shows the behavior, motives, and attitude skills of someone that is willing to present these and the first things that they would present themselves with towards someone, and as well as what other people see as you. And it's both parties knowing this and one characteristic of people. So I'm going to focus on three words that really stood out to me, which was acceptance, confidence, and maturity. And so I'm going to use two pieces of my assessment, which the first one is anxiety test and the second is self-esteem. So for the anxiety test, I got a score of 14, which essentially portrayed that I have very low levels of anxiety, and it shows how confident and positive I am, and that I'm able to deal with stressful situations in a not stressed out way, which does portray this confidence. And in the self-esteem assessment, I got a score of 94, which is something that I've known to have, and I do feel confident, meeting people, working in groups, dating someone, opening up, talking about myself, talking about other things that I know about, right? So I wanted to tie these two in together and showing how low levels of anxiety can be like a positive thing. Sometimes it could be a dangerous thing as well, right? Not caring enough type of thing. But I think I'm kind of in the middle. And so I was very grateful to see that this is something that people portray me as, because I guess I do try to be as confident as I can and know I did my best and know I'm doing the best I can every day. Next, I want to elaborate on the blind quadrant, which shows what I don't think of myself or see, but others think of me. So some couple of words that I thought were very interesting was that I was funny, observant, caring, loving, and trustworthy. And I decided to tie the listening assessment, which I got a 93 on this one. And I guess this portrays a lot of who I am without even focusing on this part of myself. So I have noticed, within the past couple of years that people do confide in me, and some of the videos that I'll show next is what people say, that I'm very selfless and I'm very caring, and it's something that I just do naturally and something that I've just focused on. I think it's important to listen to people's stories. I think it's important to let people express themselves. I think it's important to let people feel the way they feel and not make them feel guilty or ashamed or sad about it. And I think it's very important to have always someone that's listening to you and hears you and sees you, whether it's pain, joy, laughter, sadness, anger. And I think I was really happy to see this, because people use the word trustworthy, and it's not that I don't think I'm trustworthy to others, but I'm very glad to know that people think this of me. And in the videos that I received, it was a lot of she's very selfless, she puts people in front of, like, puts other people's stuff in front of her own, and I'm very glad that people think that. And I don't think I've done it in the way that I'm thinking, wow, I'm putting other people's needs in front of mine, instead of just like a force of habit. And I guess that would be my social work cap on, or whatever it is. But I think it's interesting to see how people notice that I'm putting other people's problems. And so in the other assessment, which was the ENFJ test, the first things that came up were confident and helper, which ties in with the first quadrant and the second one. So it's kind of using like good manipulation for good, having people attracted to me through my charisma and my presentation. And I see the bigger picture, believe in myself, believe in others, and put others' needs. And there's a quote that was, she'll hang up the phone and answer the person that needs help at the door, as well as like she'll go and like let go of tasks before even dealing with her own. And I think that's a great quality that I have, and I think that I'm very glad that people know that I would do anything for them, especially like my good friends. So I'm very joyful with that, and I was surprised to hear that.
Really is a loving, caring, very empathetic person. She has the most wonderful and biggest heart. She's always there for her family, her friends, and especially the community.
Important thing and the most distinctive thing about Philly is that she's very selfless. She will always put you and the people that she loves, anyone that she cares about, in front of herself in any situation. And in the future, Philly will continue to be selfless, I feel, through her job, through social work, and really through anything she does. She will always continue to be selfless.
So here's the third quadrant, which is the hidden quadrant. And the two words that came up were energetic and happy. And so this is something that's known to me, but not others. And I thought others did know that I was happy and energetic. But I think it kind of goes to show that sometimes people think of us in different ways. And I always get the comment that I'm intimidating or scary or that I'm upset at life. I guess just that's my face, and I don't know how else to fix that. But it's very interesting to people meet me afterwards and they're like, wow, I had no idea you were like this. I had no idea you could get in such deep conversations. I had no idea that you were so goofy, so silly, so weird, all that stuff, right? And so it's very interesting, and I thought that I was doing a good job to portray myself as happy because it's my name in Spanish and I have a reputation to keep up, but it's interesting to see how evident it is when people do see that I am intimidating or angry. Not angry, but I guess just have a normal face that doesn't seem appealing at times. And that's something that I definitely have worked on, but in my perspective, it's just me like thinking, or I have 100 other things on my mind, or I'm focused on whatever. And it's not that I'm not open to other people, but sometimes I do struggle to, reach out, especially when this person has a big personality or already has an assumption of me, or not that I care about any of that stuff, because I'm still willing to become their friend and become a part of their life. But you meet people a lot of times that are of authority that already think you are less because you are 20 years old versus 35. So I guess in this part, this hidden quadrant, it's not that I'm happy or energetic, but sometimes I try to be reserved, stay calm, stay cool, and not show any emotions so I could be confident in who I am versus making it more informal and keeping things formal. So this one was very interesting for me and very, very difficult to actually get through. So in the final quadrant, which is the unknown quadrant, I decided to use my attachment style assessment, which was a 26. And so in my unknown quadrant, a couple of things that were stated was, I'm able, I'm bold, calm, clever, caring, complex, dignified, extroverted, helpful, idealistic, intelligent. And these are things that I was kind of just I know that I'm that, but I don't emphasize or associate myself with that. And I guess others, those aren't the first things that they see me as, but they do believe them, which is what the unknown quadrant is. It's hidden to both me and my peers and my outside classmates, etc. So something that I always lived by was just kind of never get comfortable, right? Whether it's in a friendship, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in school and your career, I was always just very into the idea of being uncomfortable, because that's where I think I learn the most and grow as an individual, whether it's in my professional career, whether it's in my academic, with my boyfriend, with my friends, with my family, learning about other people, being uncomfortable with situations, not agreeing with people that you care about. I think these are great and amazing qualities that make people better, because you start learning, right? You're not uncomfortable with the idea of a certain political point of view, but you love your brother, and even though you do not agree, it's I understand where he's coming from and how it's controversial to me or whatever. And so I always believed that this was something important, something that I wanted to continue. And so when my attachment style was 26, it said like I have no problem opening up to a partner, and I have no problem getting close and comfortable with people, and that is very true. But I never thought I would be like so dependable. I thought I was more independent, which in a lot of ways I am, but it's funny to see how I am very dependable of the opinions of my partners to make good decisions, whether those are my friends or my boyfriend. You know, if I have a decision to make, I do ask for opinions, and I do ask for, you know, perspectives on things, just because sometimes I don't see the bigger picture. But I was always just like, never get comfortable, and these are things that have continued to get me to where I am. And so I have friends, so like all of my best friends come from different friend groups. So my friend group is basically composed of 8 other friend groups, and I could put all of my friends in a room and like they would all get along, but I wouldn't associate myself with, oh, this is my group of friends. Instead, like, I have a friend here, a friend there, you know. And I love that, and that's something that I think I've continued to work alongside, because when they confide in me, when we talk, when we catch up, they're all so different and bring so much to my life, and bring so many things that, you know, even though I don't agree with all of the things that my friends say, it does keep me out of that like comfort zone, which is awesome, and which is something that I'm glad that I do. And I think it's interesting to see how I end up being dependable, and I end up being kind of just more comfortable than I would like to be, and I think this relates to the last point, and what are my goals, and like what are my aspirations. And so I think like always being uncomfortable and relating to having friends from all over, having interests in here and there, it's something that I've pursued, like taken into my career. So, you know, I always said, like, if there was a major that I could study a little bit of finance, a little bit of marketing, a little bit of art, a little bit of reading, a little bit of everything, beyond just like prerequisites, like have a major that's like best all around degree, I would have done it. I do love social work, but I love learning about so many other things. And I think that in social work, it's very hard for me to say, oh, I want to do this, right? Because I would love to work in foster care as much as I would love to work in a hospital, and I would love to work in, you know, help people with domestic violence issues as much as I would love to work in immigration. And so answering this question is tough, because I want to be everywhere and I can't. And I was always the kind of person that was good at a lot of things and did a lot of things, versus just like my sport was track and field and I was the best at that, which those are great things. That's how my brothers are. But I was a lot more of just like all over the place, all at once, like all around. And I think that for my future, it's kind of like something I do want to accomplish with is, I think, being comfortable. I work so hard to be everywhere and to be uncomfortable, and to, you know, have an internship and be a student, part-time worker, a girlfriend, a friend, you know, a sister, like all these things. But I have to sometimes take a step back and say, you know, I did a lot of good things. And through my internships, you know, and through all my things, I've been like, oh, I need to do more. Which is okay, because it pushes me to do more. But I think instead of something that I would want to accomplish, because I always put things that I want to accomplish, I think my next accomplishment has to be saying, you know, felicitas, like, you did a good job. You know, like, take a break, take a nap, have some fun. So instead of, you know, giving you an answer of what do I have to accomplish that I've yet to accomplish, I think it's just like letting myself be content with where I am, because I'm always making sure that I'm growing and learning and doing all these things, which can also be exhausting. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm sorry if you hoped for a more bold and, you know, inspiring answer, but I think I need to, you know, settle and just be content with all the things that I've done, you know, and all the internships I've had, and all the things I've done, and all the people I've helped, and, you know, take a second to recognize that. Maybe a day or two, maybe go to the beach, get a massage, and then, you know, get back into it. So that was my presentation. I hope you enjoyed everything. I know I talked really quickly, and I rant a little bit, but this is definitely longer than 5 minutes, so you do not have to watch it, to the students. Yeah, so thanks for popping in, and I'll see you guys in the discussion board.
She's gonna change the world.